Hello class, my name is Sylvia, and for today's topic, I would like to talk about abortion. And I understand abortion can be a very sensitive topic to deal with because it has a living being included. There are two substances topic, pro-choice and pro-life. Pro-choicers believe that women have the rights to their own body and life, meaning that a woman should have the availability to choose and terminate an unborn baby, where a pro-lifer believes that all lives are equal regardless of the size and the level of development, essentially opposing the idea of abortion. I believe that every woman should have the availability to choose and have an abortion, and I strongly believe that this is essential to have control of their own body. It has been recent since women have gained civil rights. I believe that abortion is an extent to basic rights for a woman. Back in the 1973, the Supreme Court ruled the Constitution to United States to protect any pregnant woman, meaning that the rights to have an abortion without the government's restriction. However, these recent years, more states have been starting to ban abortion. Within the 13 to 24 weeks of pregnancy, they cannot abort the baby afterwards. And I have noticed that this actually stops us women from having our own rights, to have our own beliefs. And I honestly think that is not right. A woman should always have the choice to control their own body. A woman should always have the rights to abort a baby if they choose to. The banning also includes rape and incest, and if those types of situations happen, they do not allow the woman to have an abortion, which that is very unfortunate for the mother, because in the situation where they do not want to keep the baby anymore, they have to keep the baby due to it being illegal. So for what I'm saying, as a perspective of a woman, we're getting our rights stripped away by a male figure. And I honestly think that this really paralyzes us and prevents us from having the rights to anything at this point. Because having the right to abort a baby is like the basic right for us women, whether if we choose to carry that man's child or not. And that is up to us. And we're getting those rights stripped away from us by the government. And that is very unfortunate within our stands. Because that also includes rape and incest, and that is so not fair. That is a situation where we could not prevent, and a situation we could not get out of. And if we are unfortunately pregnant, we cannot abort the baby. Within the 18 to 24 weeks of pregnancy, you notice that most women do not realize that they are pregnant until the month they're in, which that by then it's already been 6 weeks into pregnancy. The symptoms are usually never kicks in within right away. So symptoms of being pregnant takes about a month, and we cannot afford to always get a pregnancy test and check. So it takes a while for us women to also notice that if we're pregnant or not. And the fact that we have to abort a baby within the 18 to 22 weeks in is really a lot of pressure onto us, because not only we go through the pain of losing that baby or aborting that baby and afterwards symptoms, we also have to deal with the pressure of what other people might think. And this is a huge different perspective. The pro-lifer sees as us aborting babies as a sin. They usually put religion on top of everything, on top of law, on top of situations, saying that it's making us sinners if we were to abort an unwanted baby. But there's many different situations for us mothers that we cannot carry this baby, such as financial issues, and such as rape and incest, such as multiple different issues with unwanted and unsafe pregnancy situation, unprotected sex. And that is a big different perspective towards our situation, because a pro-choice thinks that every woman have the rights and should have the rights to do as they please with their own body and have the rights to control their own body. And the pro-lifers and the governments are stripping our rights away, taking situations where we could have prevented and could have stopped. And they are putting their own religious beliefs into our faces and telling us that this is what's the right and we should keep it and we should put it up for adoption or some different situations. But there's been numbers of increasing of adoption kids that are not getting adopted. And that really puts a problem on top of our states, on top of the children. They live an unhappy, unwanted life, and I would much rather put down a clump of cell rather than putting it up for adoption, because I would not want that child to live an unwanted and unhappy life. That puts us in a very unhappy situation as well. Thank you so much for listening to my speech, and I would love your perspective and your opinions on this topic. And I know it was very difficult to deal with, but I really appreciate you guys for reading and listening or reading this. Thank you.